The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 29th day of May 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BEDC Group of Companies, Medical House, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. And Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Well, Bermuda Day is over. Memorial Day is over. The long weekend for most people is over. And it's back to our regularly scheduled programming. How was your weekend? I mean, some of us worked, and you might be one of them, right?
I was definitely one of them. Yes, the hustle and bustle of all the holiday weekend is over. You know, official day of summer. You can go swimming now, Hartman.
Yeah.
And get yourself in the water.
Yeah. So about that swimming thing, Maya and I, we sit in the same seats during this time of year. So we'll be happy to watch you all, cheer you on, and you're doing your Michael Phelps or whatever it is. But no, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
You know your godson's taking swimming lessons, right?
Oh yeah, already, huh? Yeah. All right, do his thing. I mean, look, better him rescuing you non-swimmers than I. Trust me, better you all. So, speak. How did your son go to the parade?
Yes, he went to the parade, watched the runners first, and then went to the parade. And midway through, he bailed. Like too much rain and everything.
I don't
Which
blame
meant he was with me.
you know what? I don't blame him. I'm in his seats, man. I at the end of the day, as a child, and we're saying young. He's only 4 years old until a couple weeks, right? So it's not like he's 6, 7, and into things or understands things as much. So I can completely understand. It's like, no, I ain't down for this rain. So I can appreciate that. A lot went on parade, and we'll talk about some of it because Bermuda Culture has their Twitter handle has a link to fill out a survey for Bermudians regarding the parade. So we'll get into that. But greetings, everyone. Well, before we get into it, I hit the grill yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I saw you put out your stuff, and I don't know who was the taster in that food because
I was the only one home, so I mean, I think it tasted pretty good. So what I did, folks, is I don't eat burgers and I don't eat beef or pork, so 3 times a year I may get on the grill and do some non-meat stuff, and I found some smart dogs, some smart bacon, so vegan bacon. I tell people, do not think this is regular. I am not eating this nonsense on a regular basis. It's just to, have a little cookout, so on. But what I will say, as you can tell how I'm setting it up, they weren't all that great, but the burgers were great, man. There's Impossible burgers, sliced up, some raw onion and tomato and lettuce, and put some jalapenos on a little pickle, make it taste like, because don't they put pickles on burgers somewhere? And then threw some they already mixed mustard and relish that they sell at the grocery store, already mixed, put on there. I tell you all, I think I might be a chef at Impossible burgers in the future.
Well, we're growing since Vendor's fish, so we must say we're going past that. So I like to see that you're getting on your.
You're bringing that up. I blame Sancho for that. Shaming me for my Wendy's fish sandwich, folks. I'm just saying, this is what happens. You get stuck, you're really hungry in the US, and sometimes you have to settle for the bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, everything came okay. It came out okay. Anyway, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Darryl Herrick. He's coming on from Global Atlantic Re. We're discussing the BEDC's 2023 pitch competition. And last year we were all tuned in. We were talking about it in our TDH group. It was really cool. Some really great business ideas. A lot of people that we know participated. So really looking forward to this year's competition. I will say there are a lot of people with a lot of great ideas in Bermuda. This is a conversation that you want to be a part of, so you can understand how you can be the next business or person, or take your idea to be rewarded with something to help give you a head start in the global business space. The daily play is a remember win, very easy one. And don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Also, folks, do not forget, Maya has been telling you all month, right? The sale ends on Wednesday. Save 15% on Loratec and Cooper and Hunter AC units during the BAC Group's pre-summer sale. Financing is available. So the offer is good through May 31st or today if supplies run out. All right, so take advantage to cool down. You don't want to wait. There you go, full price, and now you've missed the opportunity to stay cool.
And that humidity already, like the rain has, well, somewhat stopped, and that humidity is up right now.
Yeah. I just want to say this because I know, there are people that will expect us to speak about certain things this morning. And I want to say that Larry and myself on Bermuda Day, we did go live on Jamal Hartman YouTube channel. So Jamal Hartman Unscripted, and we did speak about the Bermuda Day race confusion, controversy, however you want to describe it. So you can go and watch that if you'd like, if you want to hear our thoughts on that, but we will not be continuing that conversation on today. What we want to talk about is the Bermuda Department of Culture. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, the Bermuda Department of Culture. They have a survey up. I actually have it open. And basically they're asking for feedback. And that's the question of the morning. I think, look, if it's two holidays that I really love that are Bermudian, it's Bermuda Day and it's Cock Match, which falls on what's known as Emancipation Day and Mary Prince Day, right? Those are my two favorite holidays in Bermuda. Question of the morning is, what can we learn from this year's Bermuda Day festivities? Like what is your biggest takeaway from the race to the parade to the coverage of the races? And I should say races because there's a bicycle, the Sinclair Packwood bicycle race, obviously the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby, and the Bermuda Day Parade. I have a lot of things that can be fixed, but one thing I will say, and I think we should have started the show with this. Congratulations to everyone who participated in the cycle race, everyone who participated in the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby, and all props due to every last participant that participated in the Bermuda Day Parade. Why? Yeah. Because I can tell you what, 75% of the island probably would have said, nah, bruh, I ain't doing no parade in the rain. Props to you. I mean, it was an amazing to see online. It was great. I have a lot of issues with the TV coverage, and we'll get to that, of all the events that were shared socially. But congratulations, everyone, and to the Bermudian people. Man, you all you're ducks. You are ducks because you showed up, you showed out, you represented, you supported, rain, blow, or shine. You did that thing. And these are the things that show the camaraderie in a community and togetherness and things that can help move us forward. So that was Bermuda Love. That was Bermuda Day. And also props to those behind it, the Department of Culture for, keeping the show going. I don't know about you, but me, I feel like years past that would have been canceled.
Yes.
I feel like it would have been canceled. To keep that show real, to see the young children. I'm going to use our nephew Maddox, Sancho's son. The smile on his face in that rain. I mean, I feel sorry for her on laundry day, but his face dancing gumbays and all his friends and colleagues in the gumbays and the people out there jumping into his puddles and Shawande and the drummers, everybody. It was like, yo, This looks like so much fun. What I will say is cup match is just as much fun, only if my team has the cup while it's raining. So don't try none of that rain dance and stuff. But folks, what are your thoughts? And again, there is a survey. We can share the link for you on our page a bit later, but there is a survey. What can we learn from this year's Bermuda Day festivities? We're talking about both races and the parade. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely must say, post race, when the rain started to come, I was like, it's no way they're gonna have the parade. And you saw a message that said that it was pushed back and that this was going on. I heard different, through different platforms that certain Gombe groups won't be able to come perform, and it makes sense. If it's slick roads, the type of movements they do, we don't want anyone get injured. But I think what I was most impressed with the parade was the improvising that went on. People decided, you know what, we're just going to keep going. The spectators were able to enjoy themselves. It wasn't anything that we would deem as dangerous. And if it was for you, it was for you. If it wasn't, it wasn't. Um, I think, as you stated earlier, this is the type of thing that we kind of like to see. I think we are able to showcase that it's just not behind costumes and rush throughs and stuff like that, because at this day, this is the first year I didn't hear about gaps, pace of play, or any of those things that normally come with the complaints. I think everyone was just grateful that the participants in the parade were still willing to go on. So kudos to everyone, kudos to the parents, because it takes a lot to have your parent, to have your child out in those conditions and making sure, and us standing with her. We mentioned our colleague Sancha. She did a double run. She did it with the motocross and then with the Gombe's. And I'm sure that wasn't easy. We was laughing at some of the messages that she was sending to us. But definitely kudos to those people, because that for me was what was most impressive this weekend, that people continue to brave the elements. And I think Bermuda as a whole were delighted.
Yes, and I'm glad. I agree with what you said, especially Sancho. It's interesting, and I want to say this. I love how people notice what Sancho does in terms of like people sending videos, people showing love, saying, "Look, she's Mother of the Year. She's out there." Maddox is in different parts of the parade supporting his father in the race, Jesse, and it's just like she's genuinely a good person, folks. That's what good people do. Good mothers, good, like she literally is. I'm not saying that just because she's our colleague.
Yeah.
Trust me, I don't like most of them. I mean, but no, seriously, she's a good person, and I'm glad people recognize that. Props to her out in the rain, and we're joking in the group and so on. But it's children appreciate good parenting. They do. They grow up to notice it. Kiara Summan, thank you, Kiara, for saying this. She says, and to the volunteers who helped in the rain, definitely volunteers, because again, things like this don't take place without good people in the background helping out. Karen Simmons also says, congratulations to everyone who participated in all the races and the parade, especially the parade participants. They came out and showed up. Thank you. And then Karen Simmons, yes, Maddox was in 2 sections of the parade, I believe, motorcycle and Gumbays. Yes, awesome, folks. So what are your thoughts? What can we learn from this year's Bermuda Day festivities? Like, how can we improve it? Let me go through some of the questions on the survey that Bermuda Culture they have up. And folks, please do the survey. I know how we feel about surveys. I get them all the time when I go to somewhere in the US. They say fill out this for $5. But truthfully, some surveys really do make a difference. They really do make a difference. Now, some of the questions is overall, how would you rate the Bermuda Day parade? That's one. Another is, was the parade too long, too short, or about right? Larry just said it. This is the first year I have not heard people say, oh, parade's too long, too short, or boring, there's too much spaces or gaps. Like people, you when you're in such appreciation mode, you forget all the noise.
But that's what it should be every year. Should it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think sometimes I don't want to get on the side of how the participants need to do this, or the other side, well, you be grateful for what we're doing. But it was just happy to see that it wasn't that back and forth and somebody coming on to defend because Dutch Charles in this group and stuff like that. Like it was just good to see all positive things from this situation.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's go through some of the other ones. What groups would you like to see more of? And some of the choices are natural heritage floats, upcycled floats, art floats, dance groups, gumbears, walking groups, moving groups, music trucks, other. I want to see more majorettes. I mean, props to PHC majorettes, the drummers and all. They did their thing. It says, what groups would you like to see less of? Why did you put gumbears as a choice, Department of Culture? Don't make us do this to you. Never less gumbears. Never
Never.
less gumbears. Have you ever participated in the parade? Would you consider participating in the Bermuda Day Parade? And then there's a couple, what you dislike, what you like. Do you have any specific suggestions? Where did you watch the parade from? CITV streaming online for me. But folks, this is a chance to be a part of the decisions going forward. But let us know, audience, let us know, like what, I mean, this is a great thing that I guess you don't have anything you'd improve on, but what can we learn from this year's Bermuda Day Parade? I'm going to go, well, festivities. I'm going to say festivities. As you know, I'm not critical of other mediums in this space. I just don't think it's good to do, but I would love to see better coverage of the running. And I would love to see coverage. I don't know if anyone covers the cycle race, but I'd love to see that. I would love to see coverage of the cycle race next year. I know that there was some controversy with who's going to carry the rights for the run. Well, to me, well, if you can't cover the run, cover the cycle race. I think that's of interest to some people. It's still Bermudian. It's the singular backward race. I believe we should have some coverage of that. So that's one thing I learned from this year is we need to give that more coverage. Number two, as far as the half marathon derby, I think we need to look at what's done in other jurisdictions. I've never seen so much camera time for the commentators as we saw. I literally wanted to break my computer at times because you've got the camera on the commentators. We want to see the runners. We want to see the runners. That's something that I think we can learn is more focus on the runners, less on the commentators. I shouldn't know what the commentators are wearing. And as far as the parade, what can we learn? I think Larry said it all in his comments. When we're focused on having fun, we forget about all the things that we want to complain about. Go to the parade with an attitude like you're going to have fun, regardless of the weather, the gaps, the length, and the participants. You all got out there and you had some fun. It can be done. Leave your Jamel Hartman grumpy attitude at home.
Yeah, I would agree. And to piggyback on your talking with certain coverages, I saw some of the CITV coverage, and the only thing I would say is we couldn't hear the commentators. Like, I don't know if we're talking about improving the quality and trying to get a production to a standard that we all deem that we're proud of.
Yeah.
I think one, I saw some of the commentators in that as well, and then I was struggling to hear what they were saying. People in the comments were talking about, hey, can you stop saying this? Are you talking over each other? It's too low. For me, it was too low, and it was actually something that I was very interested in because one of the commentators made a great point about the Gumbears, and they were performing and they didn't have the costumes. Sometimes we just get to the costumes, but it was such a great thing to see Black men of all ages, the ones that's able to pass it on to the next thing, and that's not necessarily spoken about, but that's something I really wanted to hear, but I couldn't hear the individual as he was talking about it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you touched on that because I should have said another thing we can learn, the coverage of the parade. We can improve that. Again, so much focus on the commentators. At times, you're wondering, well, who's performing right in front of you? Can we get a different camera angle? I think the levels of audio, there's a lot we can, and folks, this is not a criticism because knowing what goes into production of everything and knowing in Bermuda, let's be honest, we don't do live events often.
Yeah.
So it's not like, this happens often. We do live events very few and far between. That's the reality of it. We should do more, but that means that we need more financial support from guess who? The private sector. But when we do get those opportunities to produce these live events, we've got to do better.
Yeah. And to your point, I saw the equipment breakdown after the track meet that we just had. And it's so much equipment that they have and stuff like that, and it's learning and it's top of the line. And I think sometimes we expect this NBC, ABC level production. We don't have that budget. We know that. But can we improve on what we currently have? And I think that's something we kind of have to look at if we want that honest and true feedback.
Yeah, and it takes a lot. It's investment, but I mean, this is the first day I'm using a certain piece of equipment for doing this show. And so it takes investment, and you have to learn how to use the equipment. This is, me playing with the new equipment. It's a lot, but I think the Bermudians deserve this. Let's go to the comments. What can we learn from this year's Bermuda Day festivities? Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, Bermudians are resilient. I was excited to be home to see spots is a thing, to see all of the participants of the races, despite the confusion, and all those who participated in the parade. So a very happy person. He learned that Bermudians are, in fact, resilient. Folks, again, let us know if you want to hear about our thoughts about the Bermuda Day race. Again, Larry and I, on Bermuda Day, on Friday evening, May 26th, we did have a conversation. You can go and check that conversation out. We spoke about the Bermuda Day Half Marathon Derby race confusion, or as some people are saying, controversy. You can go watch that at your leisure on Jamal Hartman. Just go type in Jamal Hartman on YouTube, and you'll be able to find it. Faith Teresa Gilk says, CITV coverage is very poor. For the length of time they be doing it, join in with others that do lives and show more from different viewpoints. And see, again, I don't want to see this as a criticism, but I hope that they take this feedback and use it to become better. It was the second year in a row. I mean, I was going to chalk it down to maybe it's the weather, but just think about like the Macy's Day Parade and other parades. Like, there's not as much focus on the host. I think we focus so much on the host of the shows, which was very interesting, but I think there's some lessons in there. Anyway, let's bring in Maya for the Daily Hour news break. But again, folks, there is a survey, Bermuda Culture, and let me just see if there's if it's on their website. It's not, but I don't know. I went on their Twitter, so if you can follow Bermuda Culture on Twitter. I don't know if it's on the Instagram or others, but you can fill out that survey and just let them know what you thought. Let them know how you feel. Faith DeRosa Gilks, Charles H. Jefferson II, and any others who haven't commented, just give them your feedback, and hopefully we can get an improved Bermuda Day next year. Let's bring in Maya Palacio for today's Daily Hour news break.
Good morning.
Well, hello, madam. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Did you go to the parade and enjoy the rain?
I went to the parade for about 10 minutes. No joke. I had gotten all my equipment together. I was so excited to use this mic, like getting everything together. And then like the rain just kept going harder and harder. And I was just like, I don't want to get all this stuff wet because I don't have nothing. Like, I can't hold everything and an umbrella at the same time, like as one person. But I ended up going for a bit, hoping that maybe I'll shoot something when it's not pouring. But yeah, it just kept going down when I was there. And I was just like, okay, I'll just look out for my mama's float and do it.
Yeah, I was knocking it off, and I saw your comment in the group. You was like, "Look, this ain't it, guys," and I just burst out laughing because I was like, "Yeah." I mean, I got soaked on my way home on the bike, so yeah, I wasn't ready to get that again. So I felt you.
Yeah, I was grateful that my friend was able to come get me in her car because honestly, I couldn't. Like, riding this was ridiculous. Coming back home, it was already like flooded on the roads, and I was just like in my head, like praying, like, "Oh, I hope anyone who's on a bike right now is doing okay in this weather," because it was ridiculous to me. I couldn't stand it.
Well, what do you think? I mean, Maya, like, you didn't get to spend much time there, but are there any takeaways for you from this year?
Dedication, bro. Million people are dedicated. When you're there, you're there. That's a big takeaway that I got. So like, if I was probably there early in the morning, I probably would have fought it out. But popping in, I was like,
You gotta be there early, like, yeah, I'm in this for the long haul.
I'm in this, you know, you're prepared.
Yeah.
I had to change my outfit. I had a whole outfit plan, like, you know, so I know how some people must feel like, but those who stuck it out and really was enjoying the rain and getting wet, like, kudos to you. Honestly, kudos to you, because you're dedicated to the parade. And I felt it because, like, it's a lot of money that goes into the parade as parents putting in for your children, as, you know, being an athlete or, you know, a dancer. It's just like, man, you put in so many dedicated hours for this one specific day. Like, you gotta turn out no matter what the weather is. So dedication, props to you all for being out there in that weather. I saw a couple major events go by me, and I was just like, and I was underneath my umbrella like, dang, go guys. I was just like, this is like the dedication. Like, I love it. I love the dedication, but woof, that weather.
You know what that made me think of? We gotta get some TDH umbrellas for people. Yeah, we're gonna get daily hour umbrellas. Make sure, even if it's not raining, keep you, you know, little shade, give you a little shade this summer. That's what we'll do. Write that down, Jamel. All right, what you got for us today?
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour Newsbreak brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Starting out the news, and you know I hate to report it, but this is the report for this morning's news, that on Sunday, there is a 44-year-old man who is currently in the ICU at the hospital after a serious single vehicle collision involving a motorcycle on Sunday, May 28th at about 11:45 p.m., so way late into the hours of the evening. The details involved are limited. However, it appears the male motorcyclist was traveling east on Crow Lane, Pembroke, and when he was somehow ejected from his bike, he sustained serious head and facial injuries, as well as an injury to his left arm. At last check, he remained unconscious in the hospital's intensive care unit. An investigation to this matter is underway and has begun. Anyone with any information, please contact Sergeant Jonathan Tolbert at 2452. Again, that's 717-2452, or you can call 211.
Wishing the person a speedy recovery.
Yeah,
exactly. And you would have recently seen that I put out a video talking about serious road traffic collisions, specifically traumatic brain injuries, and this person is in the ICU being treated in the manner for any head and facial injuries. So I'm wishing him very well and good health to get through this.
And real quickly, keep with your message, because you may not know, but my behavior on, or the way how I conduct myself on the roads has changed. I made a concerted effort, to really watch myself as far as overtaking. I want to say in the last 2 weeks, I overtook one person who was kind of just, I didn't know what they was doing. So I was like, let me get across this person and whatnot. And I'm just finding myself in the line of traffic no matter what, because if we're talking about being about the change, it has to happen. And, you know, your words have had an effect on me. I can say so for myself.
Thank you, Marshall. Because even when I was walking the other day, I saw a gentleman come down my hill, helmet not buckled, and I approached him because he stopped near where I was. And I was like, I'm sorry to interject, but next time you're on your bike, please buckle your helmet. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, it's just a quick ride. I'm like, quick ride could be the end of your life. You never know. Please.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he was like, I will from now on. I'm like, thank you. So like, even though having those conversations, you see it, say something. Say something. Next up on the list, and we're talking about Bermuda Day, and the BPS put out their overall what happened over the weekend in terms of arrests. So this is what we have for the holiday weekend. Despite the overall peaceful nature of the holiday, they say the BPS made 32 arrests for various offenses, including a large number for impaired driving. This is disappointing for a weekend where roadside sobriety testing was gazetted and the island knows exactly where they're going to be. Between the sobriety test checkpoints and motorists stopped by the BPS officers on general patrol, a total of 12 people were arrested on suspicion of impaired driving, 3 of whom ultimately passed the breathalyzer at the Hamilton police station and was subsequently released. Elsewhere, a total of 46 tickets were issued for traffic offenses, and I'm going to throw up those traffic offenses here on the screen. I highlighted the ones that were particularly the highest in green there. So you have parking in prohibited manner is 9, and then speeding 6, and motorist notice for warning 6 as well. And then you can see all the other offenses there on the screen as well. So I'm going to leave that up for a second so we all see it.
Wow. I'm
not surprised, but
I don't think it's surprising, but and we'll speak more to this when the chairman of the Road Safety Council is on later this week. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We're very confused as a population when it comes to our relationship with alcohol. I think we can, enjoy a good drink. I'm having my mimosa right now. Well, Fomosa, right? My fake mimosa. And I think, we can have a little cocktail drink. I think the challenge comes where we keep going. Just last night in the US, somewhere in Florida, there was a young lady. You wouldn't have thought she was drunk, right? She seemed regular. Anyway, she drove her car into a beach in the water, almost hitting children. And the police showed the body cam last night on the world news. And she was talking, and I'm like, which one's drunk? They took her in, and she was above the legal limit. All that to say, Maya had, and I don't know if I can share this, but you had sent me something. I'm gonna do it anyway. You sent me something that's happening in Texas with police officers and alcohol. And I don't know if she sent it to you, Larry, but send it to the group, please. But folks, can you explain it? Because I want to make sure I'm explaining it right. But basically, they were doing this thing where they were bringing people in to drink just to give them an understanding of, how the legal limits work, and, how they start with one drink, and over time they just become less and less able, and they're less aware. It's a fascinating thing for the police to do, but I think it's educational. There are a lot of people on social media that think it's weird and it shouldn't be done. And I think case studies like that are necessary. And I think it's something that I remember when I was young asking police, well, what's my legal limit? 2 drinks, 3 drinks? And at that age, I learned, no, it's not necessarily the amount of drinks. It can depend on your blood, like how your size, like how much you weigh, how much you've eaten. It's so many factors.
Yeah.
I don't think we're educated as a community to understand.
Exactly that. Yep. Moving on to the news, they also reported there were 2 incidents that actually happened as well throughout the weekend. So I'm just going to briefly explain them. But the first one being that a 15-year-old boy had been stabbed, and it happened while he was skylarking, kind of like scuffing with his friends. And then one of them had a knife and actually stabbed him in the back, the upper back. The injury was said not to be life-threatening at all, but this happened on 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 25th. The second one, which occurred, was on Saturday, May 27th, where a security guard had reportedly intervened in a physical altercation between a male and a female woman. The suspect then attacked the security guard as well and punched him in the head and in the facial area. So those are 2 incidents that happened over the holiday weekend.
Wow. Whew. Any good news?
A lot to take in today.
A lot to take in.
What happens? Long weekend.
I got some good news at the end. I'm coming to it very shortly, but due to the ongoing partnership with the Consulate General of Canada, this one here is for all the students who are going to Canada, study, work permits, things like that, that there will be biometric services at Hamilton Station. So I'm going to throw up the information here, screenshot it if you need. And at the bottom there, sorry, you can't quite see it because of the thing, but there is an email that you can send to book an appointment. Right there at the bottom. I know a lot of students who go to Canada need these biometrics, and it's helpful so you don't have to go away to the States to get them and coming back. That just spends access more money. So here it is, going to be in Bermuda on the 5th and 6th of June. There's a time there for you guys to see, which is Monday, 5th of June at 1 p.m. to 4:30, and Tuesday the 6th at 9 a.m. to noon and 1 p.m. to 4:30 as well. So there's the email if you want to book an appointment.
Quick question. So people who needed biometrics for Canada would have to come to the United States prior?
Yes, or anywhere else they can kind of get it, because we don't have it in Bermuda on a regular. So they would either have to come in, or sometimes, like I know a couple of my friends had to fly out to the States to get their biometrics, or even fly out. I think they wouldn't be able to go to Canada because they need the biometrics to do so. So yeah, so they had to find a way to get it some other way. But now they have it here in Bermuda, and this is an ongoing thing now.
Yeah, I had to do that when I got my residency in the US. Thankfully, when I got my citizenship, I had gotten it so close, so I didn't have to do it again. But get it out of the way, folks, while they're in Bermuda. Do it. All right.
Save you some money. For real. Next up, I know we have been talking about it and you heard about it a lot, but the consultations that have been going on that the government has been paying out, and the number, and I know it's a lot to take in, but here is actually a statement from Scott Perriman, JP MP, who is a part of the OBA. He's a shadow minister of legal affairs. And he stated in a press release on Sunday, the OBA parliamentary questions have exposed the Barr administration using taxpayer money to make considerable payments to PLP friends and family, he states it. On the face of it, there is no legitimate justification for the Attorney General's husband receiving $13,000 of taxpayers' money each month for undisclosed consultation services. Bermuda's top law officer must be beyond reproach. Minister Kathy Lightbourne Simmons needs to explain to the public how she considered it appropriate for her husband to be placed on the Barr administration payroll. What consultation services are being provided to enable Mr. Simmons to receive taxpayer funds? How was it determined that only her husband could obtain this undisclosed role? Who took the decision to pay $13,000 a month to the Attorney General's husband? And for more than forthcoming, he just kept asking questions about this. And he says that the Attorney General needs to be the one to explain and give reasons as to why this was even allowed, and that Bermudians need answers. While there was a response from the PLP opposition, who states that, I'm sorry, let me just find it first. This is from
the opposition. PLP is not the opposition.
I'm sorry, from the PLP government, not the OBA opposition. Thank you. Trying to get through the news break quite quickly here. I apologize. But there was a statement that came back and basically saying that the Progressive Labour Party has accused the opposition of making unfounded and irresponsible allegations in relation to the Attorney General's husband being awarded a contract for services to her ministry. A party spokesperson was speaking in response to the comments made by Scott Perriman, the Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, and accusing the government of making considerable payments to friends and family. Mr. Perriman said what I had just stated about the amount and the worth, and the spokesperson said that the assertion was baseless and reckless and a deliberate smear attempt.
I don't think.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jamal.
No. I'm a hold. No, go ahead there.
I think forget the response sounds very familiar. Smear attempt, and every time it's like it's okay, let's put out a blanket reply to when something is not going in our favor. I think the people just want to know the answers. Take the husbands apart, because at the end of the day, is it a conflict of interest? But the amount, whether it's anyone, is an issue, and people want to know the answers. And at the end of the day, the information came from a petty report, and you are the government. I think the people deserve to have the answers.
Yeah.
And just to close it up, the legal affairs spokeswoman said previously there are provisions that allow for the appointment of individuals or companies in specialist fields to provide temporary consultation services. All the requisite rules and procedures were followed by the public service to approve the position of Mr. Simmons.
Okay.
So that's the end of that report there. There are more things that go into it though. So if you have the time, read the articles in the Gazette, because there's even more reports on Mr. Simmons himself, and also just questions not being answered on behalf of others. So to close up, some good news in sports. Andre Lamb jumped another 200 in his weight class world rankings after 8 straight wins when he stopped Filipino Ronald Tabayagag, sorry to that last name, in the main event at the Shed in Dockyard on May 27th. Lamb fought in remembrance of his close friend and Bermuda's latest road fatality victim, Marco Warren. So
congratulations
to Andre Lamb, yeah, moving up in ranking.
Yeah, good stuff. Congrats.
Yeah.
And after his rematch with Filipino Alvin Langumbe led to an entertaining and unanimous win for Nicky Bascom. Nicky Bascom had increased his professional record to 13 bouts now, and in an interview with Burn News, he says he's open to one more fight this year, but is focusing on his wedding to his longtime girlfriend this November.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And to close out from Bermuda Day in the sports, guys, just the official 2023 Bermuda Day winners is Gail Lindsay and Lamont Marshall. And congratulations to Gail Lindsay as she claimed her very first ever Bermuda Day title, while Lamont Marshall earned his 4th official victory following his wins in 2016, 18, and 2019. And although Dennis crossed the line first, Lamont is the official winner, and the organizers apologized for their misunderstanding or lack of communication regarding eligibility. However, they say Dennis was well aware of the rules in advance.
And I say to the organizers, make sure it doesn't happen again. When we talk about what can we learn from things, learn from this. Either you change the rules or you don't allow participation of someone who can't be declared the official winner if they cross the line first. Maya, how's the weather looking?
Looking bad, guys. This just hasn't been any really good days for us here in Bermuda. So it's going to be cloudy and some wet periods, and some rumbles of thunder is a possibility as well happening today. And we have a high of 77 degrees.
All right. Might hear some.
I'm not feeling on the golf course today.
What's the days of the year, Bert?
Today we have Loomis Day. Marlon Loomis, a humble dentist, revolutionized the world when he created the wireless telegram. Take a moment to consider life without Wi-Fi, TV, or radio.
Oh.
We won't be on the show right now, guys.
Oh. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Maya probably doesn't even remember TVs with the fat back on them, so I don't know if she can handle no Wi-Fi.
Well, I'm not that young.
Do you remember the knob?
You remember the knob, Maya?
I know what's a knob, dude.
TV knob, folks. She's like, I'm not that young. Yeah, the TV knob.
Don't start.
You remember the antennas? The antennas?
Yes. Okay, come on. Antennas are still around on some radios. Like, come on. Antennas are still a thing, Jamal.
I mean, on the TVs, though, the antenna, we used to have to put foil on the antenna so the TV will work, you know?
All right.
You know, okay, I'm sorry. Maya, have a wonderful day.
You too. Have a great conversation, guys.
Thanks so much. Folks, don't go anywhere. We're about to have a really great conversation coming up with Darryl Herrick. We're talking about the upcoming pitch competition. And if you watched it last year, if you knew about it, there was some fun business ideas, some great pitches from your fellow Bermudians. You want to know about this? You might know someone who has a great idea. You might have a great idea. Tune in to see how you can be learn more and maybe become eligible. Stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, folks, welcome back to the big show. Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BEDC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy. So Sherry's yelling at me. She sent me a message. She said, today is the 30th, sir. What did I say, the 29th earlier? So my apologies, trying to set us a day back. Yeah, that's just like me. It's a Florida thing. I mean, they're trying to take us back to the 50s and 40s. So a few weeks, but a day or two. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Also, folks, the sale ends on Wednesday. Save 15% on Loratec and Cooper and Hunter AC units during this BAC pre-summer sale. Financing is available. Offer is good through May 31st. So that would be tomorrow. That would be tomorrow. All right. So tomorrow is your last day, or today if supplies run out. All right. Let's bring in our guest for the day. Let's give a warm TDH welcome to our guest. We've got Darryl Herrick joining us. Let's give it some love. Give him the welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Good, Jamal. How you doing? Good morning to you. Good morning, Larry. Thanks so much for this opportunity today. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for coming. By the way, did you go to the parade or watch any of the runners or anything?
Yeah, so I'm actually a pretty avid runner. This is the first year I didn't run in it in probably 6 or 7. Maybe a good year with all the controversy not to run in it. But we did cheer it on from T Street in Middle Road. Had a great time, and then got to watch a little bit of the parade. Just given the rain, was only there for about 20 minutes, but to see the PHC majorettes, which were fantastic. A little jealous because they are a competitor to my son's soccer team at Vasco.
Yeah.
And they always beat us. But it was really great to see.
I'm glad you said that, because I said to a friend of mine, I saw his daughter dance for PHC Midrest, but I'm like, but you're Noah Village. How do we do that? So sounds like we need some additional dance groups happening so that, we don't have to, be jealous.
Just keeping it out a little. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's do some things. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. I think the pitch competition is one of the most exciting things that happens in Bermuda. As an entrepreneur myself, I love to see people, just jump towards it, and we'll get to that. But before we get into the competition, just tell us a bit about yourself and your background.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, my name's Darryl Herrick, and I have lived now with my family, my wife Jessie, and our 3 kids here in Bermuda for 9 years. I work for Global Atlantic Re, and we are a large life and annuity reinsurance company, so it's a little different than a lot of the P&C folks that are on the island. We have actually been in Bermuda roughly 20 years now, if you go back to our predecessor company. And we are just, really excited to talk about the pitch competition, to talk about the GA Re Foundation. It's something we've been working on now for a couple of years. So we're really excited to be a part of all this.
Nice. And speak to us before we even get into that. Like, what is your foundation about, like, and background with the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So the GA Re Foundation is, we a couple of years ago, we thought about how can we make a big impact here in Bermuda. We've always, done a lot by encouraging employees to do, community service, donating to charities that represent our values. But the GA Re Foundation is really kind of the culmination of all of that, where we earmarked $1 million to support what we call what represent our values, which are the 3 E's, which is entrepreneurship and effectively job creation. So entrepreneurship, education, and environment. And so we try to do this throughout all of our offices. We have 10 offices in the US as well. But we really want to make a big splash in Bermuda. And so we earmarked this $1 million, which will be contributed to the community over the course of the next 3 or 4 years.
Nice. And thank you.
Yeah.
So as I said, we all in TDH group, we were sharing it, we were watching it. I remember Sancha, our other co-host, actually going back like a few days later to watch it online last year's pitch competition. So just tell us, what is the Global Atlantic Re Foundation pitch competition for those who don't know?
Yeah, so, well, you're an entrepreneur, so you understand this as well. I mean, ultimately, entrepreneurship is something that's very special to Global Atlantic. I mean, we also, when we broke off from our original parent company about 10 or 11 years ago, had to raise capital and get people to trust in us. And providing those funds and access to those funds is critical. So the pitch competition ultimately is to try to get the best and brightest minds and best and brightest ideas across Bermuda that are Bermuda-based companies that work with the BEDC to pitch their ideas, pitch their businesses over a 5-minute period, and be able to take questions and answers. And ultimately, it will culminate in the idea that there will be 5 total winners. There's actually a couple categories. There's 3 different categories this year, but there'll be 5 total winners. And they'll each receive $25,000 to go towards their businesses.
Yeah, very interesting, because I went on the BEDC's website and it gave a breakdown of what you're saying. So I get where you're coming from with that. But go a bit deeper and tell us, how does the competition work?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm glad you guys had me on today, because the application process has already started. In fact, the application process ends next Monday. So really encourage everyone that has a great idea to apply and get registered with the BEDC over the course of the next 6 days. But ultimately, what's going to happen here is once the applications are all in, there will then be a pitch submission date for everyone to be able to pitch, to present their pitch ideas in written format to the BEDC. And that will take place in July. And then what will happen is there'll be a series of preliminary rounds during really the month of August, where everyone will start to pitch their ideas. to a panel of judges that will be represented by the BEDC and the broader community. And that will narrow down now then to 10 finalists. And those 10 finalists will present at the Hamilton Princess on September 28th. And they will present to a series of judges. And ultimately, there'll be 5 winners from that. And so what's going to happen is each of those people is going to bring their best ideas. They're going to have to show that there's a clear benefit to the Bermuda community. It's a Bermuda-based business. And they must demonstrate that there's a demand for their product or service. Because ultimately, we want to try to seed each of these businesses to see them thrive and grow, and then hopefully even expand internationally. I guess the other thing I would say is there's going to be 3 categories. There's going to be the main category is going to have 3 winners. And that's going to be, anyone can apply that's part of that's Bermuda based and part of the BEDC program. There's going to be a youth category as well. So there'll be 3 non-youth winners. There'll be a youth category as well. And then there'll be a fifth winner, which will be really voted on by the public. And that will take place over the course of a week where we'll get the best ideas and see who the public really supports for their business.
I absolutely love this. I
Love
do.
it.
Audience, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask now, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs in the audience, a lot of people with ideas. So if you have any questions or comments for Darryl, please send them through now. Go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
Yeah, I love it also, Jamel. And I really think the sporting community can take some of these ideas, because we often talk about funding for elite athletes and stuff like that. So I like the idea. You touched on it briefly, but who is eligible to participate?
Sure. So it's a good question, Larry. So the criteria is that you must be registered with the BEDC and have participated in a BEDC program. So for those of you who are not, I'd recommend that you visit the BEDC.bm website. Arika Smith, Jamela Lodge and her team will obviously take in different registrants. Then you're going to file an application to be able to be part of the pitch event. But the criteria is you must be part of the BEDC, you must be Bermuda based, you must have an idea that has, again, a clear benefit to the market, and you must demonstrate a real demand for the product. Outside of that, you must not be receiving funds and grants from others as well, because I think the idea here is that the BEDC is really trying to start true startups here that don't have current access to capital. Outside of that, it's really open to anyone. So it's pretty fair game as far as who can ultimately qualify.
Man,
I love it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry.
Love it. Yeah, you spoke about the deadline earlier. Just remind us when the deadline is and how people can register.
Yeah, absolutely. So go to bedc.bm. The deadline is next Monday. So it's been open since I think earlier this month, May 3rd, maybe. But the deadline is next Monday. So you have all week. But I'm pleased to encourage everyone to get started today, tomorrow, to start to get registered and apply. Because next Monday, I think at midnight, is the last time you can submit.
Yeah, I love this. I love entrepreneurship. I always say community over charity. I don't believe they're one and the same. And I think what you're doing, what your company is doing, is actually community rather than charity. Community creates opportunities for people to do for self. And I absolutely am grateful and thankful, Darryl. Just tell us real quickly, what kind of businesses do you believe, just from a personal perspective, would benefit Bermuda's current economy? And I'm putting you on the spot there, but because like right now, everyone's thinking technology and AI is changing everything, right? What do you think some businesses, like someone may have a great idea, right? And that idea could be something tech related. Are we looking for tech, or can it be anything? Like what do you think would make sense?
Yeah, listen, it can be anything. Absolutely. There's no criteria as far as what the business has to be. Ultimately it can be tech. I would expect we're going to see a number of great ideas around the tech space. I think also, things that are around the environment or education are a really big idea too. And I think that's going to take some weight as well. But I've seen some really great ideas. I've met a number of people who are applied already. There's some really interesting ideas around non-alcoholic beverages. So, Jamel, I think kind of like what your Famosa is. That could be really interesting. I think we're going to see it from a wide variety of industries. I do hope there's some tech. I do hope there's some environment. But I think, let's see what it is. I don't think we have a prejudgment as to what it needs to be. We just want to see that it obviously has a good chance to succeed.
Yeah, and I've only as an adult, an older adult, I've been reading more entrepreneur books, and you really you never know how much your idea can help others until you actually try to go and do things. Any words of encouragement for someone who may be on the fence? They have this idea, but they may be afraid to go public or feel like their idea may be stolen, because there are people who actually feel like that. They'll keep an idea in-house. Any thoughts to keep them comfortable knowing that, no, this is fair. No one's going to steal your idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I in general in life, I always think it's important to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think, listen, you got to get out there. This competition really is truly open-minded. I think you're going to see a very diverse set of judges coming from a lot of different areas that are really just looking for best ideas. I think, what I would say is just, present yourself firmly, think about your audience, think about your market. But this is really your chance to make a real difference and to make those dreams a reality. So I would really encourage people, particularly those who are maybe a little uncomfortable, a little bit nervous about doing something. Listen, the best things I've done in my life are when I was really uncomfortable and just took a shot. Sometimes you'll fail, but that's okay. You'll learn. And listen, there's another pitch competition that'll come back up in a couple of years. So you can participate again there and learn from the mistakes of this one. But definitely encourage everyone to give it a shot.
Indeed. Once again, thank you for what you and Global Atlantic Re are doing. And please keep in touch. Let us know how we can keep pushing this for you. Make sure that the public's supporting, make sure that we're involved. And, folks, I want to say this. Once the competition's done, if one of these, if someone's unsuccessful, you can still support them. That's one thing I want to get through. Just if they're not successful in the pitch competition and you hear their idea, you like it, you can still support them. So again, thanks again. Just remind people where they can go to get more information.
Sure. So it's BEDC. So BEDC .bm.
All right. One last question from the audience. I'll give you this. Rosalind Fame is asking, would Global Atlantic Re consider a pitch competition for Bermudians living abroad? Interesting.
That's a really interesting question. Thanks for that one, Rosalind. It's possible. Listen, it's possible. I think the biggest thing that we're focused on is making a true impact in Bermuda. And obviously a potential extension of that would be to support Bermudians living abroad that can demonstrate a way to be able to make an economic impact in Bermuda. One of the key things that we like about entrepreneurship is its job creation. And so I think job creation in Bermuda is one of the most critical things that we're looking at. But listen, if there's a great idea from a Bermudian living abroad, could I see that over the course of the next couple of years? Absolutely. I think we just need to take a look at it. But right now we're just focused on obviously Bermudians living here and hopefully getting some of the best ideas there.
Rosalind, I think I fall in that boat. I live outside of Bermuda, but obviously we do this Bermuda's Daily Talk Show and contribute to Bermuda regularly. So I completely understand you. Yeah. Again, Darryl, thank you so much.
And Jamel, you would have done great in the pitch competition. You would have been a shoot.
The deadline's still there. I may have to enter. Thank you so
I hope
much.
you do.
Let's keep in touch, and we'll keep rocking and pushing this and letting people know. Get out there, register, get your idea heard. Have a wonderful day, Darryl.
Great. Thanks, Jamel. Thanks, Larry.
All right, Darryl.
Thank you.
Folks, if you appreciated today's conversation with Darryl Herrick about the pitch competition, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Please, if you have an idea, if you know someone with an idea, please go and register. Kiara Sumner, my favorite quote, growth and comfort do not coexist. I love that quote as well. I really love that one. Thank you so much. Folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, come back, wrap it up, and have the daily play before we send you away with the daily inspiration. Stick with us. Do not go anywhere.
If you haven't been to ER Fisheries in a while, it's time to hop in the car, drive east, and come check out what we have to offer. ER Fisheries and Foods is a Bermuda-based food company that sells a variety of food products to local customers. We are, of course, known for high-quality food items, including specialty meats and seafood, but we offer so much more. We have evolved from a small community-driven ordering window to a modern freezer front with easily accessible products. Our newly revamped store offers customers a top-tier shopping experience, and we also offer delivery. Regardless of your preferences or diet, we have something for everyone, including chicken, many varieties of seafood, pork, lamb, beef, plant-based items, fruit and veggies, bread, dairy, and grocery items. So come check us out for your specialty grocery needs. ER Fisheries is open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at 134 Marginal Wharf, Southside St. David's.
All righty. Thanks again to Darryl Herrick from Global Atlantic Re and the BEDC for the work they're doing. Again, pitch idea, folks. If you have an idea, get your idea heard. You never know. You could be the winner. And if you're not a winner in the pitch competition, you may be a winner. Look, example, Fantasia Barrino won American Idol. Jennifer Hudson came like 7th.
Yeah.
Who would you say has had a better career? J. Hud is a EGOT winner, Emmy, Oscar, and Grammy, if I'm not mistaken. She also now has a daytime talk show. You don't always have to win the big one to be the most successful. And I think, again, if you have an idea, please go for it. Go for it. Real quickly, I just want to repeat this. The sale ends tomorrow, the 31st. Again, not Wednesday. Tomorrow, 31st. All right, folks? No, tomorrow is Wednesday. I'm getting my days mixed up.
Yeah, come on, man. This little holiday, you can't even catch yourself, man.
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Folks, sale ends tomorrow, Wednesday the 31st. Wednesday the 31st. Was that better, Larry?
No, it's better, my boy.
All right, man. I'm having a hard time today. You know what? I blame Sherry.
That's the easy. That's your starting to sound like the PLP with the general answer and it's something.
Yeah, it's catching on. It's catching on. I didn't see Karen Simmons. She asked, does an entrepreneur have to pay patent register their name and idea so they don't have their ideas be stolen? I don't know the language. Yeah, what should I ask that? But I'm
going to do a follow-up question with that.
We can definitely send that to him. All right, folks. It is. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Let's get this ready. Help him out, folks. It's a remember when. Who was Bermuda's first woman lawyer?
Lois Brown Evans?
Yeah, she was. She was.
Okay.
I got 5 seconds of my music in. Real quickly, congratulations to Larry on getting it so fast. Yes, Dame Lois Brown Evans was the first woman lawyer in Bermuda. Real quickly, I don't know if you guys saw last night, the Boston Celtics were eliminated from the NBA playoffs at home, Game 7, and they came back from 3 games down. And yes, South Florida just been doing it in sports, college basketball, NHL, and NBA, just doing a thing. They haven't won the big one yet, but they've gotten to the big dance. But I want to say this. Eric Spoelstra, he is the coach of the Miami Heat. And I don't think he gets enough credit. If you look at that roster, it's not good. But we've been talking a lot about talent as far as the Bermuda Day race and hard work. And even the Lakers and Denver Nuggets, some will say the Lakers had the most talented players on the roster.
Yeah.
And I know people are saying, oh, who's going to watch Denver and Miami in the NBA Finals? I'll tell you what, I will go to watch a hard-working, hard-fought contest any day over talent who just shows up on a day and thinks they have the right to victory.
Yeah.
What
and as a coach, I would rather someone that's ready to put the hard work in anytime, because eventually, that's what you look for. You can cultivate anything, I feel, but you need to have that grit and determination.
Yeah. So let's wrap today's show up, folks. Larry, let's just revisit what can we learn from this year's Bermuda Day festivities, and then obviously the pitch competition by Global Atlantic Re and the BEDC.
I think when you look at Bermuda Day, so many things have came out about it. You have to be able to sit back and take the feedback. I'm glad that both the race day committee and the parade committee, I don't know the exact name, have surveys and want feedback. Just throwing it out there, as Jamal stated, we did go live on his channel, Jamal Apartment Unscripted, and we talked about the race, since which it has gotten messy, and we will not do the mess. As far as the BEDC, I love the idea. I encourage any entrepreneur to get involved. You know what I mean? We often wonder how can we, and if this, all they can do is say no. If you get rejected at the application phase, fine. How do you do better the next time? I think it's the start. And I'm just happy that, we have these types of competitions that's going on. I actually don't remember last year's competition. I don't know where I was. Maybe I was living in a bubble. However, it's such a good thing to go.
Yeah. I'll say this much. Again, the two things that I think, three things we can learn from this year's festivities, Bermuda Day festivities. Let's get some coverage, streaming coverage of the cycle race. As far as the run, let's improve the coverage of the race, but also let's eliminate the confusion. We've got an entire year to do that. And then as far as the parade, let's improve the coverage, the streaming coverage. There are more and more Bermudians living outside Bermuda. That's the coverage they rely on. They want to see the performances at the best angles. They would love to see less of the hosts. So that would be my feedback. And again, congratulations to every last participant, volunteer, and the Bermudian people on another great Bermuda Day. Real quickly, if you haven't already, hit the join button. Make sure you become a member of the TDH community. We're doing some fun things. The summer podcast on the way, and also the restaurant crawl. We'll be releasing information very soon. Larry, you've got some daily inspiration for us to send us on our way?
I do. And our daily inspiration is brought to us by E.R. Fisheries. Sorry. You have to do something in your life that's honorable and not cowardly if you are to live in peace with yourself. And that's from former NBA coach Larry Brown.
Yeah, it's amazing to me, and I agree with that. I like that, but I think it's subjective what honorable is. There are people who think honorable means getting into politics. I've yet to have a person show me what's honorable about being in politics in this day and age. Honorable is pretty much the activism. It's the fight against the policies and politics that really exist today. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Also, again, the sale ends on Wednesday, tomorrow. Save 15% on Loritac and Cooper and Hunter AC units during BAC's pre-sale. Financing is available. All right. Offer is good through tomorrow, May 31st, or while supplies last if they go out today. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.